What up, though? My bad, having technical difficulties. There we go. What up, though? It's the word. You see the title. Let's talk about it. Where the heck is my. Alright, do me a favor, though. If you can hit the like button, and if you're new, hit the subscribe. It's free to you, but it means a lot to me. I heard another content creator make a statement earlier. People like beautiful lies over the ugly truth. And when I hear stuff like that, even though I heard it, hundreds and hundreds of times in my life, for some reason, at that specific time when you hear something, no matter how many times you hear it, sometimes you go into a deeper thought. And I just had, I guess you want to call it an epiphany of why people, why I believe people choose the beautiful lie over the ugly truth. I got a couple reasons, but the more you experience life, the more things that you hear make sense. Because a lot of times, through life, as we experience it, we may hear something and don't have an experience to associate it with. So, therefore, it usually don't make sense. That's why, that's why older people always say, or always feel like they know more than the younger person, not because they actually read more books or just in general have more, I say, societal or society intelligence, meaning books, mechanics, vernacular, history. A younger person may have more knowledge as far as social, with experience, like general life experience. Older people been here a lot longer, experienced a lot of different things, a lot of different ways. So, that's why older people, in general, in my opinion, they just feel like they know more than younger people. And they always say, I've been here for a long time. And so a lot of the associations, even this one, comes from people who've been here for a period of time. And they just see things for what it is. And one of my beliefs is that it's more comfortable looking and thinking about things that make us feel good. And dealing with people, a lot of times, people gain information about you just to be able to tell you beautiful lies so you can let your guard down, trust them, put yourself in a vulnerable situation. People actually seek out to do things like that. So there has to be some validity to it, right? Because it's a tactic used on a lot of us. Some of us even use it, Um, and things that don't look good or feel good, a lot of times we shy away from. In my opinion, that's why a lot of people don't do self-reflection. They prefer to go off a thought that they have about themselves instead of actually looking at the actions, that thought feel better. But when you have to look at in totality your actions, your choices, your decisions, you begin to realize you're not that person who you like to think you are. And subconsciously, a lot of people know that. And that's why they don't indulge in self reflection because they understand what they'll see if they do. So I feel people even feed themselves beautiful lies instead of looking at the ugly truth. I think that's a big one because, like I said, that's self inflicted too. You know, we function highly off our emotions. That's how, in general, we um, we tend to drift more towards those things that make us feel better about ourselves, and we drift away from the things that don't. But a lot of times, we don't indulge enough far as the experience of the things that don't make us feel good. And that's part of life because the reason they don't make us feel good a lot of time is because we're unaware. Or, like I said, it's something that we have to look into as far as ourselves. But those things that don't make us feel good are there for a reason. They're there for a reason. And the longer we hide from them, the longer we hide from um, the bigger the list of those things become because we're just associating things with emotions and we're not figuring out why those things trigger a specific emotion. Those things could be person, place, or thing. Person, place, or object. You know, we don't indulge in them because, like I said, a lot of times um, those things that don't make us feel good are put there or are there to make us uncomfortable. Because a lot of times for us to grow, we have to be uncomfortable. A lot of times, those things we don't like to look at are the trials or tribulations, are the opportunities to grow, to overcome. But like I said, we trick ourselves a lot of times and don't even consider them. And we just drift to the things that make us feel good. But just like the things that don't make us feel good, all the things that make us feel good aren't good for us. And we just don't think they're that detrimental. So we still drift towards those beautiful lives. It's easier. And that's another thing, too. I think, that's part of going towards the beautiful life. It's easier, because it's not something we have to identify. It's not something we have to even truly fully embrace. It's just something comfortable. We get complacent. We get complacent a lot, and we choose to go with the flow because it's easier. But that's just one reason I think people choose to go with the beautiful lie, besides the ugly truth, is because it's easier. It's more comfortable. And another reason I think is the big reason is we're conditioned. We've been conditioned as kids. You know, if you even take Christmas in consideration, the beautiful lie, Santa Claus go come down the chimney, give you a present if you're a good boy or girl. The ugly truth for a lot of us is that holiday put a big strain on our parents. A lot of parents are stressed around that time because they can't give a great holiday or a good holiday as they feel their kids should have. They put themselves through a lot, and then they even lie about what they had to sacrifice and gave the glory to an imaginary figure. Gave all the praise to an imaginary figure. And, me personally, when I grew up, I was kind of upset when I found out Santa Claus wasn't real. And I found out at an early age, about 5 years old. And I was so upset that I decided at 5 years old that I'm going to keep lying and say I believe in Santa Claus just so I can get extra gifts. That's what I'm going to keep doing. And I did that up until 13, until my mama said, "Nah, boy, you know it ain't no Santa Claus." But I did it out of anger. At 5 years old, I decided that they lied to me, so I'm going to lie to them. That was the ugly truth. And I was okay with accepting that. The beautiful lie was me. What up, Craig? The beautiful lie was me continuing to say I believed in Santa Claus. That was the beautiful lie. I mean, the more we think about it, we could talk about the Tooth Fairy, Easter Bunny. We look in history and see, mythology. People believed in gods and deities that if they prayed hard enough, if they pray hard enough, that these guys or deities will come to their rescue. Basically, that's the beautiful lie. It gave people hope and it inspired people. If it was a war going on, if it was famine going on, just giving people faith that something greater than them will eventually intervene and help. That's just looking at mythology, but the ugly truth is this. Proven at that time, it was always men who had to fight something greater than them to achieve a level of success for the people that depended on them. And sometimes they succeeded and sometimes they didn't. Even today, and I'm not going to go into religion. I'm not, but I do want to say this. Even today, when things happen, when good things happen, we associate it with karma, or we give the glory to God. When bad things happen, we get at we get at to, hey, Leticia. When bad things happen, we give that credit to Satan, or we get that credit just to bad karma. And that's the beautiful lie. I'm not going to say it's a lie that, the glory goes to God or the credit goes to Satan. But the ugly truth is this. When things happen, people do it. If a man walks into a school or a building or anywhere and begins to open fire and kill people, The fact is that man did that. If a millionaire comes out and creates a million small homes and give it to poor people, the fact is that man did it. It's easier to look at things and equate it to something greater than we are. It's harder to accept that people are capable of not only bad things but good things. We don't really give the individual credit when they do something. We always give someone else credit or something else credit, saying something worked through them. Even if that person was a messed up person their whole life and woke up one day and decided to turn their life around and do something great, we'll get a credit to something other than him. We all, and, I'm not getting into religion, but I'm going to say that we all have the potential to do either good or bad. That's just the ugly truth. And a lot of times, instead of us digging deep inside ourselves, instead of believing in ourselves or actually testing ourselves to see what is our limits, it's easier to believe something greater than us, outside of us, can contribute to that and make us do that, will us to do that. And that's work. To become a better you is work. And it's uncomfortable a lot of times. A lot of times it's uncomfortable. But when you do it, you realize that you actually, it becomes addictive, actually, because you realize that, you did it. You realize you did it. And then you begin to do more work on you. And then when opportunities, situations, what people call problems come, instead of being afraid, you understand this is just another opportunity. This is just something else for me to test myself, to see how stronger I am or how stronger I got. It's just my perception. But that, I feel that gives you the opportunity. But a lot of times, people, like I said, it's harder to do that. What is easier to do is to blame on something else, is to let it go. You know what I'm saying? Like, to run away from it. And then when you run away from it, it's easier to say, oh, the devil. The devil. The devil. No, it was your fear. A lot of us, at a lot of different times, in a lot of different situations, are fearful. A long time ago, I thought I got rid of fear. I really did. I wasn't afraid of nothing. I thought I overcame that. And then I had a kid. That fucked me up. that messed me up. I've been through so much and overcame so much and learned so much. I thought I understood what fear was until I created life, or helped create life, until I assisted. But I was responsible. It was my responsibility. I got sisters, I got brothers, I got nieces, I got nephews, I got a cousin, I got a mama and daddy. I thought I understood what responsibility of life was until I had my son. And it scared the shit out of me. Whole nother level. Now I got a daughter. So I had to go back and reevaluate that. And that's a process I'm still in. But what I'm telling you is when things get, harder, or bad things happen, it's easier It's easier to take it or go through it if we blame it on something greater or something outside of our parameter that we could have prevented or stopped or even comprehend. It's easier to say the devil did it. It's easier to say it. It's easier to swallow it when you say it. It's just easier. If I can hear that in the video, I swear I'm clipping it. I know, but it was funny. I don't know if y'all heard that, if y'all did. But it's just easier to blame it on the devil. And I'm like I said, I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just stating facts. I'm gonna just stick with the facts. And when things happen, like I said, even good things, we like to blame it on supernatural force. A lot of times we don't like to give ourselves credit. I don't know why. I'm still asking that question. I understood it in me. Why I didn't give myself credit when I did good things, when I accomplished things that other people thought I couldn't accomplish, or when I overcame things that other people thought I couldn't overcome. I always gave the power to something greater than I. And not, like I said, I'm not saying that it's not the. I apologize. It's cluster feeding time, the baby. But yeah, I figured it out for me why I didn't do it, because I didn't understand the creator. Like I'm not gonna get into that. Maybe one day, but I understand that nothing outside myself is greater than the power inside. That's the scripture. The power in ye is greater than the power outside of. You know, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. All that shit about everything I'm telling you is in the Bible. So it ain't no spookism. But what I'm telling you is, once I understood nothing outside myself um, is greater than what's inside myself. Once I understood that, I began to give myself credit. And in my opinion, by doing that, I'm paying homage to the Creator, because just my personal belief, not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just sharing. But my personal belief is that the Creator gave us everything that we will ever need. And it's our responsibility to pull that out. It's our responsibility to allow that power that the Creator gave us to come out. And it's work. It's inner work we got to do. When we heal our inside, usually the outside becomes better. That's just my personal belief. But like I said, it's easier to believe a beautiful lie. I think it's more comfortable, and I think we condition. Um, I think we condition to a lot of these things. Is Perp in here? I didn't see Perp in here. I see Craig and Leticia. Hey, Tease, if you ain't got, please, if you're watching this live or on playback, if you could sub up to Leticia's Third Eye POV. She dropped great information, and please take advantage of her Rumble account on that account too. A lot of great information. That's family. But yeah, I think it's just easier for us to do things that we're comfortable with. And I know I'm talking. I'm breaking out my shell. To be honest, I try to translate my thoughts in a way that people are um, receiving. You know, that's how I try to talk. Honestly, So I know it sounds like kind of crazy. I talk slow, or I'm real selective with my words because I am, because that's part of communication. And there's no point in me talking to people and they not be able to grasp what I'm saying or relate or associate. So, and that's why even, like I said, with the ugly truth, um, like I said, I don't think we supposed to be comfortable. I don't think you should be comfortable. When you get comfortable, you get complacent. And life, if you spiritual or if you religious, life is work. If you religious, you have a. As long as we're on the physical plane, we have the duty of the Lord. We have to work. We know we go constantly be tested. We know um, we're gonna constantly have to show our faith. That's constant. That's 24/7. So why get comfortable? And if you're spiritual, you understand. We're forever resonating and elevating. There's so much around us that we got to cleanse from, just to stay pure enough to resonate or raise our frequency to that seventh crown, that seventh heaven, that crown chakra. If we spiritual, that's our goal. How can you not fall into the cycle of reincarnation if you don't reach the crown chakra? And that's almost every spiritual belief. You have to resonate to that crown chakra, that Christos, that Christum, to avoid reincarnation. If you Kemetic, that's what the feather of Ma'at is. If your heart don't get ate by Sabak, then you get to go into heaven. If they get ate by Sabak, they don't tell us, but that's reincarnation. If you Buddhist, you already know. They stop at the third eye. Once that third eye is awakened, then you avoid the cycle of reincarnation. But almost every spiritual practice, is constant work. So the ugly truth, we should always, like I said, if you're spiritual or religious, the ugly truth is always, we should always seek the truth, and it's going to be uncomfortable. And that's why we calling it ugly, because it don't make us feel good initially, But the things that initially make you feel good, you end up paying for it in the long run. A lot of us, like, if you're, like, I asked a lot of my older friends now, like, how did that make you feel when you found out Santa Claus wasn't real? Oh, I didn't care. And I was like, you didn't think, like, not one time did you think, like, man, my mom and dad lied to me? They'd be like, yeah. And I'm like, did you ever think after that, like, if they lied to me about this, whatever they lied to me about, and they looked at me and said, yeah, I mean, that happens subconsciously. Who wouldn't feel that way, even as a kid? You remember things that happen. I'm going to have to grow up. I mean, my kids will grow up and I know one day they're going to ask me, like, Dad, why didn't you lie to us about Santa Claus? Why didn't you tell us that story? I'm going to have to, explain that to them instead of explaining to them why I did lie. So that's new territory, whole new, set of circumstances. But I'd rather face the ugly truth than to later on explain to my kids why I lied to them. And it seems so harmless. I know it do. It really do. And it probably is. This is just my opinion. But you still lied. That's the ugly truth. So even in the beautiful lie is ugly truth, and then even in the ugly truth is a beautiful lie within there. Everything exists. It's just on different poles. It's on the same pole on different ends. Everything in existence is one side and the other side. Then it's the middle. That's everything. Hot, cold, wet, dry, good, bad, God, devil. Everything exists. It's just on different ends. So with one, you have to associate the other. That's just what it is. And that's when I understood that. I stopped asking why things happen in life and start trying to figure them out. Even when I hear stuff now, if something unfortunate happened, my first thought is, okay, why did it happen? And how can we prevent it? I don't ask why God let it happen. I don't ask why Satan entered that person and did that. It just is. It just happened. Things are just as they are. Like people say, things happen for a reason, right? So even with that, it's true. But what is the reason? How often do we seek the answer to that question? Things just happen. Well, why did it happen? Oh, that's police work. That's detective work. If is a movement, especially here on YouTube. Um, People starting to wake up. We starting to realize that our children, our kids, are being targeted. You know, we starting to see that. And like people starting to wake up. We talk about it a lot in the circle I'm in. Shout out to Miss 514 and Risha. They talked about it today. I hear a lot of other content creators beginning to talk about the kids, and that's the target of our children has been going on. Riders for Life, shout out, one of the biggest advocates for kids on YouTube. Um, Riders for Life, Rachel. Hey, Craig, I don't. If you could put Leticia and Riders link in the chat, I greatly appreciate it. Or I put it in there later. Um, but yeah, more people starting to talk about how our kids are being targeted. So people starting to wake up. But this has been happening. When you look at history, it's been happening. I don't even want to say it, but honestly, since the development of public school, our children has been targeted because the children are the future. So the easiest way to control the future is to control the people who will be in control. And that's been happening. It's going to a whole new extreme though, because they're eliminating the parents and they're using public school. Now, before they just put the parents in work, they made the parents work. And this is just the ugly truth. I'm sorry. Um, I do a special on it. I don't know how much information I could put on here. I might have to go to Rumble. I don't even honestly, yeah, being 100% honest with you, I don't even really want to do it because I don't believe it'll make a difference. I don't believe people. Um, like I said, I think it's the beautiful lie. People rather have the beautiful lie. It's easier to digest, and you don't have to look at. You don't have to do nothing right now. You just have to pay for it later. And we became conditioned to that, to the fact that we'll smile now and cry later. We became conditioned to that. But since the conception of public school, probably take it further than that. But that had I can actually show you how, if you subscribe to the transatlantic slave trade, I can show you how it began there. If you subscribe to it, if you don't, I can show you where it started with the public school. So, I mean, like I said, is there the information? Any way you want to look at it, any way you want to digest the ugly truth is there. You know, it's like I said. Now it's getting ramped up. It's getting ramped up. First, they started with taking the mother out of the home, putting her in the workforce. Now you don't have the mother there nurturing you. The dad was already out, working, providing for the family. Now you took the mother out. Now you're dependent on public school, and one of the other major factors is the television, TV program, the radio, the music. Then they came out with video games. All these things are influencing the kids, even if it's to distract them. It's still a form of influence, you know. So, who's now the way you teach anything? You first have to have influence over it. That's an animal. That's a person. A person usually don't generally learn from someone that doesn't have some form of influence, even if it's fear. People won't even pick things up or learn from it. So, but what what they doing now is they giving the kids more rights than the parents. Shout out to Miss 504 and Risha. Like they stated earlier, you can't even discipline your child. The teachers in school are fearful of the children. Parents are fearful of their children. Why is it like that? Because you took the power out of the parents' hands and put it in the children, and they're giving them more rights. First, if a girl was underage, even under consenting age, and got impregnated, it was up to her, not the parent. Now, in school, I don't know what grade, I want to be more accurate, but Writers for Life had a short video on her channel, and the school can determine, the school allows the children to determine how they're defined as far as gender. And like I said, I can't remember what grade it was, but they didn't have to tell the parent, and the school would start referring to the gender that the child wanted without disclosing it to the parent. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. They teaching our kids sex ed about same sex in school. Nate just had on his podcast earlier. It was 4 states. Like I said, I don't have the information. I don't want to mislead or say the wrong thing, but from my understanding, it was 4 states that it was mandated that they teach this in school. To the like, when did it become school or government or anybody business about when we teach our kids about sex? When? How? Like, even having sex ed in school, I understand. I don't believe in that. Period. I don't believe that's no one's responsibility but the parent. I believe in science and biology, where you could teach the anatomy. I believe in that, yeah. But I'm talking about the action, talking about that. When you teach people things, that's when they become interested in it, right? So what is you teaching kids in grade school about any type of, like, come on, huh? But that's the beautiful lie that we just accept this stuff and then we pay for it later. We pay for it later. So, um, the ugly truth is this: they taking control of our kids. That's the ugly truth, and that's scary because it's like you think of yourself on an individual level. What we gonna do? Like, what we gonna do? How we gonna stop this? That's scary because now you're looking at facing something greater than you, something that's been built up in your subconscious to be godlike. Believe it or not, do we not look like at the government like that? We asked it for help. We pray to it, paying taxes. I mean, it's something bigger than us. But going up against that, that's the ugly truth. That's ugly. How we gonna stop this? Are we gonna stop it? And then you got you have people who I like to say, uh, outside the it don't bother them. They already got a plan in place. Homeschool. Bam, there you go. I ain't got to worry about that. I can keep on moving. You don't. But now, even when your children grow up, they got to deal with a society full of these people. So unless we go build our own little country or continent, or go buy an island and isolate ourselves, we got to deal with it regardless. And that's the ugly truth. The beautiful lie is I homeschool my kids. I ain't worried about it. But the ugly truth is this affects everybody. Everybody. If you with it or if you're not with it. It affects us all. If you got kids or if you don't. This affects us all. And this is the beautiful lie, I like to think. Some way, somehow, we'll come together and we'll prevent it. Somebody will write a law. We'll elect the right person. That's the beautiful lie, I like to think. But this is the ugly truth. We're watching the world change right in front of us. That's what we're watching. What up, Riders? I was just talking about you. Said your name 3 times and you popped up like Candyman. That's the ugly truth. I hope I'm wrong. Honestly, I hope I'm wrong. But I'm never usually wrong. I'm never usually wrong. Yeah, when I see stuff. We watching the world change. Just like our ancestors did, though. My grandmother used to told me a story about segregation or desegregation. To them was a nightmare. To my grandmother, her family didn't want it, and she said when it happened, she said the only thing she can compare it to is watching a storm come in, seeing the sky go from clear to dark. And I asked her, how long did it last? And she looked at me and she said, it didn't even reach the middle yet. I didn't understand what she was saying. I thought she was just saying, because we desegregated, that, people wasn't segregated no more. It was going to be bad or get bad. That's not what she was telling me. She was showing me that everything was changing around her. And once the storm began, it'll never end. Um, and it's kind of like, when you're a kid and you grow up, you just look at the world as it is. Um, Good and bad is different for you than it is for people older than you. Yeah. And I'm staying that storm. I've been seeing it. I didn't come up in a time where there was always conflict within races of people. So I didn't come up in a time where black people was united against this people or nothing like that. I came up in a time where it was just people against people. You know, I came up in a time where people of my color, um, we went through a whole different level than our ancestors. A whole different level. Um, but we went through it. We still go through it. You know, I call it the prejudice. You know, that's what we currently going through. But you know, now I just don't understand how, um, like I see a lot of the stuff that happen, or the way our kids are being targeted. I don't understand how, like, the people before me didn't. Was it other things that they were focused on, um, or was it the beautiful lie? You can easily be distracted by something, and you can easily be distracted. Like, look over here while something is being done over here. We all know that. So if we think of any of the major wars or um, budget crises or anything that ever had the pandemic, what I'm starting to wonder what was put in place during these things. When we was all focused and afraid, 9/11, what was actually put in place or enforced? What was they talking about? Because in my opinion, and I'm gonna just say it, I don't try to say a lot of things, but I got kids, man, and I don't know who go hear this or who go listen to this, but I'm gonna just keep it funky with you, and I'm laughing because I'm trying not to be upset. That's why I laugh. So whenever you hear me giggle like that, it's really because I'm pissed off. That's a I don't know what you want to call it, but it is what it is. Um, the way they attacking our kids is they're detaching us from them slowly but surely. But now it's getting to an extreme level. And if, like I said, I can do what I can do for my kids, and that's what I'm gonna do. I mean, we can get together, we can talk about it, but ultimately, I know what to do for mine. I'm not allowing. I'm just not allowing. That's my responsibility as a father. And they have to take me out. Even if they take me out, I still got contingency plans. And that's my responsibility as a father. And that's your responsibility if you have a parent. Always have things in place for your children if you're not here. Always. But this is my contingency plan. I'm not giving them to you. It's my responsibility to raise my kid. I don't care what I got to go through. I'm not giving my children to you. No matter what I got to sacrifice, you're not having them. But like I said, I still got to face the ugly truth. My kids, when they grow up, they still got to be in a world with other people, kids who didn't take that stance, who didn't fight for their kids. And now my kids got to deal with them. So guess what? I'm going to get them ready for that too. That's just what I do. And to be honest with you, that's why I don't mind having these conversations. But I have responsibility to my family also. So I try to share as much information without being a dick. I do. I truly do. I humble myself. Um, I get in conversations and hear things um, and perspectives. And like I said, I respect everybody. I do. And I take a lot of information from a lot of people and I incorporate it with what I know. I do all this for my family. That's the work I put in. That's what I can contribute. I do the best at what I could do. And that's what I'm good at. I'm good at breaking things down. I'm good at analyzing things. I'm good at seeing things that a lot of people don't see. And what I'm telling you is you have the responsibility for your children. And if you do care about your children, what kind of future they're going to have to be in, especially because you're not going to be here forever to protect them. Even when you're here to protect them, it's hard to protect them. It's easy. This is I'm just telling you the beautiful lie. I'm telling you what's easy to do. What is easy to do is to go with the flow, is to allow these schools, this government, or whoever you want to call them, to take a lot of the responsibilities off of you and help raise your kids, or what you think is helping raise your kids. But here go the ugly truth. They're taking your kids and creating what they want them to be. And the more you get in their way, the more you get in their way, um, the more things they create to distract you, like work, bills, taxes, put stuff on the news, make you afraid that you're going into a depression, put stuff in your religion, make you feel like the world about to end. They do all this stuff to distract you just to get to your kid. They want you to reproduce. Check this out. Listen to what I'm telling y'all. They want you to reproduce. They want you to have kids. They don't care if they go to the state. They don't care if you raise them. They just want more kids. Kids are the future. And they use them in many different ways. All of them ain't the ones they get to run the world. A lot of them, they just want them here so they can fill up these prisons. I'm telling you the ugly truth. A lot of these kids that people create, they don't care if they put you on welfare or nothing like that. They want your kids in prison. Free labor. Why am I talking? I'm about to be quiet, man. I don't see how y'all don't see this shit. I'm just being honest. There's a lot of stuff right there in your face, and I don't see how you see. Y'all distracted. Let me tell you a secret. Let me tell you a secret. Nothing outside you matters. Nothing. Nothing outside you matters. Everything outside yourself is a distraction. Everything. And that's the lesson of Buddha. That's how Buddha reached the level of Nirvana. He didn't care about nothing. You know, nothing outside of self mattered. And once you understand that, you detach yourself emotionally from a lot of things and you're able to see stuff clearly. Your emotions will cloud your judgment, will cloud the way you look at things because you like or because you don't like. If you're looking at things as right or wrong before you properly look at it, you don't know what it is. You just don't know what it is. You attach an emotion to it, and that's what it means to you. But that don't mean that's what it is. like I said, this beautiful the title. I titled it just for this, so y'all can understand that the ugly truth is if you don't influence your children, someone else will. And we have kids. Why do we even have kids? I mean, why do anybody have kids? I mean, if y'all don't mind putting in the chat, do you know why you had kids? Did you just have them because you were supposed to, or you felt like you? Was it a desire? What is it? 'Cause I'll be honest with you. Um, reason I had kids because I realized um, that was a form of immortality. I would live forever through my kids. That's my form of immortality. I can never die because I'm gonna do something so great and special for my kids, just like my grandmother did for me. That even when I'm not here, I'll be spoken of. They might name a kid after me. You know, like my grandmother will never die. I'm always talk about her. My grandmother is immortal. My kids gonna know about my grandmother. Their kids gonna know about my grandmother. That's my form of immortality. That might sound shallow, but um, that's part of it. Because the other part is my wife wanted kids. I don't know why she wanted kids, but that's part of it. That's my form of immortality. But why do you have kids? But I can tell you why they want you to have kids. I can't tell you that. If you want to know that, you want to know the ugly truth about that. This is why. Oh yeah. Um. I take. See, I can tell you. I think you open to listen, so I could tell you what I could tell you about all that. Um. Well, yeah, this is hell, but this is heaven for some too. Think about that. This might be hell for us, but this is actually heaven for a lot of people. Um, I'm taking one pill twice a day, $800 a month. Damn. Yeah, I know. I used to do that, helping people with health insurance credit, finding them free insulin and stuff like that. And it wasn't even my job, but once I knew the system and I can do it, I used to just help people. Like when I switch them or help them with a Medicare Part B plan, and they had insulin. I used to help them um, find like companies in Canada that send them free insulin. So yeah, you go directly to the company. You can either get it free or half off. But you made me forget what I was talking about, bro. Um, but yeah, this is why they want you to have kids, right? And I mean, what I speak is common sense. You know, if you want proof, um, just look at the laws that was changed recently. They just tried to get rid of abortion completely. Why would you try to get rid of abortion in a country that you feel is one overpopulated and overpopulated by people who you feel shouldn't be having babies in the first place? Why would you try to get rid of abortion? I tell you why. Look on the back of your money. Man, y'all will get me JFK, bro. Look on the back of your money. It say this is this note is backed by debt. Debt note. Um, y'all think we free? This country is nothing but a big ass slave ship surrounded by water. All the country is, man. The currency here is backed by debt. Who's in debt? The people of the country. How do you how do you print more money? You build more debt. Like when I say your kids, that's why they want your kids. Your kids. Like somebody was saying, I forgot who it was, but somebody was saying like, oh, it was old school, 22 Roman. He was saying he felt like we're being farmed. We've been being farmed, bro. It's for our labor or work. They don't care if your kids go to Princeton or prison because they go get work out of them anyway. They go either build them up to be model citizens of society and work and pay taxes, or they go build them up and put them in prison and work them. Damn near free labor. What, $1 a day or something like that? They don't care where your kids go. They prefer to go to prison though, because they can make more money off of them going to prison. That's why we got more. I ain't saying that. I can't. Fair use YouTube. These are my opinions when I'm allegedly under the influence. So these are my opinions. Then I'll just say it like that. Something wrong with me, YouTube. Allegedly, I think I snapped. So yeah, these are these are the thoughts and opinions of a crazy person. So don't mind me. I'm just talking out my ass. Um, yeah, don't mind me. I'm just talking out my ass. I don't even know what I'm saying. But yeah, that's why they want your kids, man. That's why they want your kids. They don't care if they go to Princeton or prison, man. They don't care if they become actors or movie stars. They don't care about none of that. They just want them to either do one or two things: follow the rules and the structure that they built, and the way they built it. That's why they going to kill. Hey, if you got a family member over the age of 83, ask them when did they learn about slavery and how did they learn about it. No matter if you black or white, ask your family member that. Um, I think that would be an interesting dialogue. But ask them. Um, but yeah, they don't care if your kids go to Princeton or prison. They just want to be able to influence them one way. If they can't get them to be model citizens, they want them to be gangsters and thugs. They don't care. Anyway it go, they gonna make money off of them. Anyway it go, they gonna make money. My bad. Let me get to the chat. Rachel, I ain't playing my kids, but I can tell you this: they are air breathing. No. Hey, in fact, I am too wealthy to afford insurance for uh, if you was in Michigan, I could hook you up, bro. Hey, Rach, you know what I said? This is, and this is what I tell people. Um, when you go through things, it's go do one or two things. It's either go create a diamond, which you are, or it's go bust. It's go bust pipes. Um, but like you said, you broke the chains. I like to think I broke the chains. Um, I like to think I did the same thing. You know, time will tell. Um, but yeah, I feel like I did it. And like I said, to even overcome the things that you had to face the ugly truth. And that's why I always say don't run from it. things are uncomfortable. Everything has to be uncomfortable to grow. If you put a seed in the ground, that seed got to bust out of the shell. I'm pretty sure that's uncomfortable. You got to bust out of the dirt. That's uncomfortable. If it was in a state of complacent, it'll just be in the dirt in the shell and never grow. Old things skins have to be shed. Look at snakes. Like I said, look at season and the growth process. Old things have to be shed for new things to um, come. Even the way, think about this, even think about it like this, and everything that come out that cocoon ain't pretty. Moths are ugly. So everything that comes out of cocoon ain't pretty. So um, even with the way they're attacking our kids right now, it's not pretty. They're totally confusing the shit out of them. Like if a person, a human being's brain ain't fully developed until you're 25, why does it make sense to think that people can decide what sex they are? I think even, and this is no knock against no community, because I'm going to be 100% with you. I don't care what nobody do with their life, as long as it don't affect me. And that's a bad attitude to have, because like I said, I got kids now, but I had this attitude for a long time. I never cared what other people did because it didn't affect me. And it was only me at that time. I just had to worry about me. So I had this attitude for a long time, and I still have it, because, but I understand eventually my kids got to go into the world and deal with it. So I decided that's why I do what I do. I share information now. That's all I can do, because I'm not going out there protesting or doing no marches or no walks. I ain't doing none of it, because none of that shit matter. But but that's why I share information. Hopefully, I say something and it resonate with somebody, and then it resonate with somebody else, and I can effectively change the world. But no, so this ain't no knock against no group. I don't care what you do with your life. I really don't. I wish everyone the best. I love everything and I love everybody. That's just my art. I love nature. I love people. That's just what I do. But I don't care. But how does it make sense for anybody to determine what sex they are at an infant age? And when I mean infant, I'm talking about before your brain fully developed. Just my personal beliefs. I don't think nobody should be able to have that surgery until 2 years after your brain fully developed and you can rationally think. Because technically, we don't even rationally think until we over the age of 27, 28. That's scientific. You can go look that up. But yeah, I don't think, so why are you even talking to kids about this? That don't make sense, do it? It does make sense, because they trying to confuse the shit out of them. They trying to confuse the shit out of them. I mean, there's so many stories where people had the surgery and then later on in life they realized it was a mistake. And there's stories where people are excited about it. So I'm not gonna be fake or phony. People happy, people not, but just having those people proves to you that this is something that shouldn't be taken lightly and should be well thought out. That's just proof. It's more proof. Um, it's more proof that people regret things later on in life. Everything, anything. The more time people have to think about something, the more time they can rationally make a decision. So when you do something instinctively or impulsively, a lot of times you realize it wasn't the best decision. And that's something I had to learn through time, you know. And I think we all get an understanding of that the older we get. So why are we letting these children make decisions before they can even properly rationalize a thought. I'll tell you why. This is a distraction. All this shit is a distraction, man. You know, wrong. I had a client pass away 6 months ago. She was in the mark with MLK. It was around Rosa Parks. Yeah, I'm telling you, like older people is the wealth of knowledge. Rest in peace. Craig, I'll show you something, but I don't know if you'll want to believe it. But I tell you this, just because I'm being an asshole tonight, and it's like I'm gonna start calling my shows like this unfiltered. Once I get more protection, I'm gonna start calling shows unfiltered, and I'm gonna just start telling y'all shit and not care. Yeah, I mean, it's nothing you can really do to control anybody. Honestly, I mean, yeah, kids need to be kids. We need to allow kids to be kids. Um, they gonna have to be adults one day, you know. And we as adults know that this shit ain't fun. So why don't we just let the kids be kids? I don't understand that. Half of us adults still want to be kids. So why the fuck we trying to make the kids grow up? You know. But yeah, I'm gonna say something. Probably will rub people the wrong way. I don't think it'll rub people the wrong way, but there has never ever been anything um, that's been recognized as black culture. Black is the essence of all colors. Black is even a color. So to call a people black, you automatically um, denounce them of what we call humanity by calling the people of color. Negro is not a landmass, not a country. It's not an identity. Blacks over in America don't have an identity, so it's impossible to ever have a culture. The culture that we know as black culture was fabricated and given, and it's been done through movies and um, music. You know, we have a culture of natives that a lot of us are beginning to understand and embrace. If you want to call us Aborigines, you want to call us Nijis. My tribe was actually called Sambuk, which you won't find in a book because they tried to wipe them out, and they didn't. And some of that lineage and history was passed down. So a lot of people know who they are. It's just not accepted for the simple fact that there's no historical documents. You know, it's Aborigine people, melanated people who know who they are, but they are denied because there's no documentation. But as we know, what happens when a people are conquered? Their history erased and rewrote. That's why y'all get. Um, that's why you have Native of Americans now. I say it like that. I'm not gonna say nothing that's gonna offend anyone, and I get a strike on this video because I do hope people listen to it. So I call them Native Americans, but those aren't the original people of this land. Those aren't the original people. I can say that because it's fact. The original people of this land is in many books. It's in a book called An Accurate Description of America. It's in a couple other books. But nah, them ain't the original people. Them people ain't copper. So but to even say Native of American, that's that they can have that title. You know, a lot of us know who we are. A lot of us beginning to unravel and see our story, the mystery. That's a dope word. Mystery, my story. That's a dope word. But yeah, I guess I dropped the link for a minute, but that's my thought on why it's easier to swallow a beautiful lie. Easy. It's hard to look at the ugly truth, and for some reason, we tend to gravitate towards things that are easy. But a lot of those things, like I said, we pay for it in the long run. That's this whole thing about instant gratification. You can associate that with a beautiful lie versus building a foundation and longevity, putting that work in, and eventually building something that can withstand time, like the pyramids and things. Beautiful, ain't they? Um, Building something that can withstand, you know, we don't. That's the ugly truth. When you begin to look at everything, look at yourself and analyze everything and look for ways to make improvements. A lot of times those improvements are are difficult and they hard to make because we have developed habits. Those habits that became a part of us. And like I said, a lot of stuff is just uncomfortable. And see, Craig, I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, Especially in the zone I'm in now, um, it wouldn't be worth it. It wouldn't be worth it. I mean, you can study black culture, but brother, I'm black. And not only am I black, I am original from this land. I can speak a tongue that people don't speak and very few heard. So when you say black, I don't even subscribe for conversational purposes. I associate myself as being black. I'm not black. And I'm telling you, what you've seen on TV, what you read in books, that's a group of people. Even if you study the people of Tulsa, Oklahoma, them was Seminole Indians who created Black Wall Street. Them wasn't black people. Rosewood, them was Indians. Them was Aboriginal people. Them was not black people. The understanding of black people in this country comes from a story of slavery and overcoming slavery. That's the history. That's the culture. But what I'm telling you, those are stories. So I mean, even rooted in faith. I'm like I said, I'm gonna keep it funky with you. Who gave black people Christianity, the faith that they so in tune with? Who gave them that? That was given to them. That was given to them. That's how, if you follow the story of the transatlantic slave trade, that's how a lot of people got on the boat. It was through Christianity that was introduced to them. So that wasn't even black people' faith. Black people practice spirituality, hoodoo. Over here, they call it voodoo. In the islands, they call it voodoo. That's an ancestral practice. Black people never looked at a god. We worshiped our ancestors, and it wasn't even worship; it was paying homage. But in voodoo, they added Christianity into voodoo, so that's how you know that ain't even black people stuff. That's something that was created Hollywood. And I mean, you can try to debate me, but you're not gonna like me afterward. That's why I don't debate because I lose people. Well, see, even now, see, that's what I'm saying. Look at the verbiage. This is why you don't want to debate me, my brother, because I am. Listen to what I'm telling you. I am sabak. Anakahuna ha fachuha chanaha. I speak a language that many don't. We never called ourselves Indian. My grandfather, my great grandfather, was a chief. I can bring my mama back on here and she could tell you. He lived in a teepee, bro. Literally lived in a teepee. They were hidden. My grandfather, my mother's father, couldn't even write English, bro. When he left it wasn't even we don't even call it reservation, bro. That's a lot of stuff y'all know ain't the truth. This is what I'm telling you this for fact. And I don't even talk to people. You know why? Because I find myself, instead of telling my story, trying to convince people of things that they never experienced. It's hard to explain something that people have never studied, and it's hard to study something that was taken away. It's hard to study stuff that's not there unless you're privileged to it. If you begin to look into Freemasonry, especially in America, you will see a lot of fuck shit. So even when I used to debate with them, they used to get frustrated, bro. I'm just a normal man. I'm not a Mason. Why do I understand things that I do? And that's how they used to challenge me. Not on the information, not that I know what you know, but I just got a different understanding. Like I said, a lot of people go outside themselves to look for answers. I go within. But this was part of my culture. Like even using the term Indians, we never called ourselves Indian. We never used the term reservation. Is not even a Native American. If you want to say Native American, Aborigine, the Neji, um, if you want to, y'all only really know about certain tribes, the Cherokee. Uh, Very few people know about the Seminoles or the Blackfoots, um, the Hopi. Y'all know about them because they made them like that. Cherokee people don't even call themselves Cherokee, bro. So that's what I'm saying. Like even getting into the language with me, like when you when you debate me, bro, I'm go. I mean, even the argument is we go. I'm the word for a reason, bro. Because words have perception. It's the way you look at stuff. So even saying Indian, you're telling me that the information that you gotten, and no offense, but the information you're telling me about is information written by the conquerors. The information I'm talking about is information written by the people who ain't here to tell the story. So we go conflict, we go collide. And the way you're going to prove is through your understanding of the conqueror. And that might be right. That might be the truth, but it's not fact. You see what I'm saying? That's true. Um, I say this too, though. It's still different. That's like this. Like I grew up. Like I grew up around a diverse group of people. Um, I got four mentors. Out of the four mentors, two of them are Caucasians. One of them from the UK, the other one from here. You know. But even though I grew up around those people, I say it like this: I never know how it feel or the experience of a white man being told that they're responsible for slavery or their ancestors, and that's why they're bad people. I never know how that feel. No matter how many times people tell me how I feel, I never know. I never know how I feel as a Cuban to be told to go float back on a raft back to my country. I never know how that feels. I can associate, think, um, I can read about it. People can tell me stories, but if I've never experienced coming over here on a raft, my life in danger, finally making it, after making it being put in a camp, a prison. I never know how that feels to finally be free and have the opportunity that I didn't have in another country. I never know how that feels. And I never, I never try to, because if I try to say I know or I understand, I'm denouncing what that person has went through. I'm almost devaluing it, you know. So it's it's like this too. Um, you you can um, you can learn everything. You can you can, and when I say learn, I'm talking about far as reading, researching, being taught. Um, but experience is something totally different, you know. And even because you got to think about this, whatever you read, that's just the perception or that person's perception of that experience that they went through. So you can't even equate that to knowing. You just know that person's perception of the experience that person had. You know, you can read a letter from someone and or a story about somebody. You can read a letter or a story about somebody and get an understanding of their perception, but then you got to take into account who that person was. Did that person have any um, underlying issues, mental issues? How did that person? How was that person affected in life? Um, because even now, if we all go through the same experience, we all gonna look at it different. So if I write an account of the story and 15, 20 years from now, somebody read it and they just read my perception of it, they can't have knowledge of what happened. That's only a perception. That's why when we study history, we don't look at one person's account of the situation. We look at multiple. That's why in the Bible, when you talk about Jesus, it's what, four books? What accounts of Jesus? And all four books got different perceptions of how things happen. And most people don't even take that into account when they read in the Bible. You know, all those stories about it, you know, are different perceptions. Um, so when I like I said, when I look at um, even even the black race, like I'm telling you, my experience of identifying with black people is totally different from anybody you ever met. I promise you that. It's totally different. I didn't grow up like a lot of urban black people. I didn't grow up like a lot of suburban black people. I don't even, like I said, I don't even consider myself black. I identify with it because it's easier to have conversations with a mass group of people. But ask Leticia, is she black? She gonna say no. Ask Ryder if he black. He gonna say no. You ask Nate if he black, he black, yeah, I'm black. Ask 22. You ask Papa, he gonna tell you Swarty. You know what I'm saying? So even if you ask all those different black people about their account, it's all gonna be different. So I'm just being honest, 100% honest. Um, it's cool to research black people. It's cool to or black culture or look into it, but to build a proper bond with a black person, just let them have that experience. You know, um, learn from their individual experiences, should I say? Because a lot of times, what'll happen is people will feel, and you got to understand, you got to take an account of history too. You got to take that into account. You know, you have to take that into account. You have to take history into account because, especially in America, you know, um, and this is subconsciously, just my opinion, with a lot of black people. Uh, you know, we have a long history of Caucasian people, white people, European people, um, telling us who we are and what we are and how we should feel and how we should look at things. You know, I'm a little different from a lot of, like I said, I'm different. So I can understand, I can see your intent, but you will find pushback or conflict with a lot of different black people. Just, and like I said, I understand your attention. You know, you're just trying to educate and share information. Um, but it's sensitive. I say it like that. It's sensitive to, and if anybody black in the comments feel any other type of way, please type and feel free to correct me. But it's sensitive when a white person tells us about our experiences and our history because of one, history, you know, and two, like I said, you can read, you can get different people, but even when you reading something, you're using your own personal experience to understand what the person is trying to convey. You know, you're looking at it from your own perspective because, like I said, you can only look at things from what you experienced in life, and that's through personal experience, education. That's the only way you can look at things. um, So even like I said, when people get pulled over, if me and you in a car, we get pulled over. As soon as I see them lights, I'm gonna have a different reaction than you are. You know, I'm gonna have a different emotional effect than you are. Um, and that's just you know what I'm saying. But um, like I said, I understand your intentions. I see your spirit is good. But I'm just telling you, like in the future, when you interacting, because we do have to come together, but we have, like I always, like when we talk about communication, right, we got to say, we got to understand our audience, you know. And like me, I will never, like, I don't like when I ain't gonna say I don't like, I feel, I have a certain emotion when I hear um I have a certain, like, I got white family, right? So when black people start talking about um like when we had conversations about slavery, and you know the white counterpart is taking the brunt of that. And what I mean, but not all black people do this, but a lot of black people look at white people like your ancestors did this to us, like fuck you. That's how they look at them, right? And I feel a certain way about that because I never know how that feels for a white person to go through that. I can say it's not right, um, but then you have people to argue like, well, at least white people should recognize that and say, and apologize for it. It's people that feel like that. I know white people who feel like that. They apologize to me. I found out my family had slaves. I apologize. I'm like, no, you cool, bro. I get close friends who did that, and the more they learn about slavery, they come back and apologize. I'll be like, bro, okay, I accept it. Leave me alone. You know, but it's experiences. I never know how it feel um, for a white person who grew up in the hood or grew up under impoverished terms to be told that they got white privilege. I never know how that feel. You know what I'm saying? I can sit here and be like, they have to be feel horrible that you never got the chance to experience that. That's fucked up. Like, damn, out of all the white people, it skipped you. I never know how that feel for to be told that, because I don't. But me personally, I don't believe in white privilege. I believe in what they call benefit of the doubt, though. Like I said, we both get pulled over by the cops. You cool? I'm not. If we both walking down the streets with hoodie on, and a lady is in the middle of the street and had to pick a side, 9 times out of 10 she will pick the white person's side. You know, that's what I'm saying. Benefit of the doubt. When you look in the news, when you see gang shootings, they don't talk about these kids going out doing these gang shootings, having PTSD and being birthed in fucked up conditions, so they probably got some type of mental issue. Nah, they gangsters, they thugs, they the vermin. You know, a young white dude go shoot up something. They talk about mental issues, instabilities at home, and stuff like that. Benefit of the doubt. So yeah, I believe in white benefit of the doubt, but I don't think, like I said, white people suffer from the same problems that I do. So I don't, me personally, and that's no knock against nobody. I hope nobody feel no type of way. I believe in what I believe in. Well, I ain't gonna say I believe. That's something I know. That's something that I can prove. So I can't prove white privilege. I can't prove it because I see things that go against it. So I can't prove that, but I can prove, the benefit of the doubt. But I never know how it feel for a white person who never experienced even the benefit of the doubt to be told they have white privilege. And I never, um, that's not my experience. So I just let them have it. Um, if I'm asked my opinion about something, then yeah, share it all the time, anytime. But I wouldn't engage into unnecessary conversation about an experience of another race or group of people. Um, and that just I don't. I try to put myself in the best position to succeed um, around the people, and that's that's more of a 70-30% chance to start argument or conflict. That's just my opinion, though. Um, that's just something to think about. Like I said, I'm just sharing information. I actually did a whole video on that, how different races should interact to be able to build. Because, okay, here goes another beautiful lie and another ugly truth, right? Um, the beautiful lie is that we're all the same. That's the beautiful lie. It's comfortable to think until, like I said, later on, you have an experience and you realize that we're all not the same. We're not the same. We're not. We have similarities, but we got a lot of differences too. I mean, you can go from historical to genetics. We're not the same. Um, we just not. But that's the ugly truth. Still has beauty in it because we're all not the same. We all bring some diversity that we can learn from one another. We can teach one another different things. We can embrace something new. That's the beautiful thing about it. That we all not the same, and that's okay. because we're all on the same planet and experience the same things within the same system. So instead of keeping ourselves separated from the differences that we have, what brings us together is the similarities. And like I said, a lot of the similarities are the issue. But even not being the same, we can still become one in the sense of like mindedness. We can still become one. And that's the beautiful thing, too. Um, you get a bunch of crayons in the same box, all different colors. And when you get a picture, you can diversify the picture by using all those beautiful colors. And when you're done, you put them back in the same box. They all did the same job, even though they was all different. They had a common goal, was to create something beautiful. And that's what we can do as people. But we have to understand that, there are differences. And we got to stop running away from that. Even like we got problems within our own groups, but we got problems in coming together as a group. And I think one of those fundamental problems is it's more comfortable to feel that we're the same. That's comfortable, you know. That's comfortable, so that's easy to do, but it's not. We not the same. We'll never be the same. Like I said, we can come on to like mindedness. You know what? I'm just being real. I sit back and there's some people who are so whatever, and the information is same. Then you start to see the picture. Yeah, I think I just got a deeper. I think I'm just going a little deeper. I think that's what it is. I'm just going a little deeper. Um, because I'm just saying, like in reality, right? In reality, um, I mean, I grew up in the middle, the military, poor urban people at times in the area where I was minority. Yeah, and see, even if you like, I don't know if y'all watch Miss 504. You know, um, I resonate with her, but her being from New Orleans, me being from the Midwest, we both melanated, but we really different. And the way she looked at things and the way I look at things are two totally different ways of looking at life. But we get a lot of similarities too. Um, but her life experiences are hers, and when she tell her experiences, even though I know people who close to me who experience some of the same things, I listen to her experiences. Um, I listen to her and I learn from her experiences. And the more I'm not gonna say act, but the more that I realize that I know about the situations that she been in, um, the less I'll be able to indulge into her experience because I'm already, if she's telling the story, I'm already um, associating it with something that I know instead of sitting back and analyzing her experience. So that's like that old saying, the more you think you know, the less you actually know. Um, I follow that rule when it comes to other people's experiences. and other people's stories, you know, um, because even like if we start talking about a period in time, like you said, the 1960s, black culture began to start falling apart. Um, if I start telling you a story from around that time period, you're going to automatically associate it with what you already know. You're not going to fully intake what I'm saying or the information that I'm giving because you already know. Um, so that's like even when I talk to, that's what I always say. I'm an information whore, and I want to share information. I just sit back and listen to what people have to say. You know, um, and that's why I said like the zone I'm in tonight. I am in a debating zone. I am not a pretty person in a zone. That's why I ain't dropped the link yet. I am my mind, and because when I debate is competition to me, and I have to demolish the competition. And when I do that, I'm just being honest. I go for the people's soul, um, and I'm not doing that. Not with you, bro. So probably tomorrow we can have this conversation. But my state of mindset right now is I'm pissed because I'll be honest with you. I'm pissed because of this. Um, I heard a content creator use this term today, and I finally, like, I had an epiphany, and it made more sense of why things are the way they are. And I get upset when I played sports my whole life in martial arts, so I get upset when I see laziness, and this is just another form of laziness to me. No, you don't have a normal mind. And see, yeah, it'll be interesting and fun. Um, but I'm gonna pull from places that you probably ain't seen before, bro. Like I said, I got a book right now. If you go, if you go look on Amazon, matter of fact, let's do that. I'm gonna show you this book I got, bro. I'm gonna show you this book I got, and it wasn't this price when I got it. I don't know where my phone is. It's easier to find it on my phone. It wasn't this price when I got the book, but I did pay. I think I paid like $8.75 for it. I think I paid like $8.75. And then I found the PDF. I was so pissed. An accurate description of America. Oh, bro, they got it even cheaper. They got it in paperback. Yeah, they got the damn book in paperback now. But hold on, this is not it. Yeah, bro, they got this book for $9.99 now. But I got the original, like leather bound. It's actually a big book and it's leather bound. I want to see if I can find it on Amazon. Where is? I don't have Amazon on my computer, but that's the name of the book. They got it for $9.99 now, bro. That's actually a great book, but I don't think it got all the pictures and stuff in it. Oh no, this look crazy. This ain't even it. This ain't it. Oh, this say book one. That's why. But I gotta go. Uh, Go get my books. A lot of my books out of the storage. I stayed in an apartment before we moved in the house, and a couple of my books got to be kept in like cases. So I grabbed the actual book and show you online, like show it in the camera of what it looked like and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, that'll be fun. Um, but I'll tell you this too. When we talking about history, when I research history, I research the people too, and I do not. I don't care if academia deemed them credible. If I find a person had an agenda, I don't accept they. Um, I don't accept the information, especially when I know it's predicated upon uh, within the system of racism. Like Charles Darwin, I do not accept the theory of evolution. Dude was a racist. I mean, it's been proven that he used that whole theory to put black people at the bottom of the species. So I don't accept anything from Darwin. Um, Fair use YouTube. I know that's one of the peoples, but yeah, but that's the ugly truth. You know, we all different, and um, like I always say, I only believe in two types of people: good people and bad people. I just believe those people come in varieties. You know, those people do come in varieties, and just like a bag of Skittles. You know, we don't buy them because it's one flavor. We buy them because it's multiple flavors, and we enjoy them all. Well, I do. You know, I enjoy all the flavors. But if you want something that's the same, just a different shade of color, then we go get M&Ms. You know, but that's the beautiful lie. We all M&Ms, but the ugly truth is we more like Skittles. So we should just embrace the rainbow. Not that way. I'm talking about, and you know, just being diverse, being diverse. But if we truly intend on coming together and building together as a people and not just separated or divided in our own individual races, we it's just my opinion. I just think we should respect the fact that we all different, you know, and instead of thinking that we know a person's experiences because of our own experience with information, we should just embrace that individual's experience as the person they are. And I think we learn more, you know, because like I said, all black people not the same. So even if you read 10 stories from 10 different black people, their stories still will be different from mine. Their experiences will be different from mine. Um, and you can't equate a group of people to individual experiences. So, like I said, we can say black people are Christians or black people are Democrats, when that's not a fact. It's black people that's different religions and political beliefs. Um, you can say the majority of. I still argue that. You know, I can still argue that because now we're going off percentages, and the percentages that we're going off of, who's to say all black people participated in the poll? You know, so I can. It's gonna be different ways. I can argue a lot of different things, and like I'm gonna argue it with fact. It can't prove it. I'm more like a court. Um, when it comes to debating, I'm gonna give you things that you can't prove, and then try to force you to prove them. That's one of my tactics. Um, That's what I do. I find what you can't prove and then I exploit it because facts are facts, you know, and a lot of things that we like to assume are facts are only truth. Truth is just what a lot of people agree to say, yeah, that's right. That's all truth is. Fact is something that can be proven. And what can't be proven is at any point of time that the majority of any people get data or information collected. Even if you look at the census, you know how many people don't report for that? I mean, so yeah, if we want to come together as a people, let's just respect the individual that we dealing with, their experience, and I think it'll just go smoother. You know what I'm saying? Um, because if we come together as a people, one of the things we have to do is find better ways to not only to communicate but to associate with one another. And I think one of those keys is like I follow the 42 ideas of my and one of the ideals is to pay homage to all altars. Well, I'm sorry, to respect all altars, meaning to respect every religion, respect it. I don't have to believe in it, but I respect it. Um, respect it to the fact that I will not desecrate it with my ideas. I will not impose on it with my ideas, and that's how I even treat people. You know, um, 'cause like I said, I deal with. I don't. I can never tell you, um, like Pert. She in Australia, but Pert, got gypsy blood. I never know her experiences as a, being a gypsy. They had a pretty tough history. So I never understand that experience. Only thing I can do is learn her own personal experience. But I'm not going to associate her experience. Like if I meet someone else, I'm not going to associate her experiences with the other because they different. Like I said, me and Miss 504, she experienced a lot of stuff I haven't experienced as a melanated being in the United States. But I know people very close to me who have. But for me to say I understand what she's been through, that'll be disrespectful in my eyes. Because even though I know people and talk to people, I even help some of the people through their problems, I still don't know hers. There's too many variables involved to understand what a person, even if a person tells you, you can never understand that emotion that a person had when they experienced it. Even if you understand the emotion, you'll never understand the level of the emotion they experienced. That's why I say it's too many variables. Um, so that's why I'm totally in tune with everyone's experience, and I try to learn as much as I can for understanding. But to be honest, I like to know everybody's because, like I said, everybody has a different attachment to a situation or uh, a perspective of that situation, and it can be the same thing over and over. But we all experience things differently. Like even this conversation, it's it's some people go hear some of the stuff I say and be like, "This motherfucker, he don't like black people, or he don't like this people, or it's go people," because that's just what they heard because they were. I don't know, bro. That's just the way life is. That's the ugly truth. The ugly truth is people go take things the way they want to. That's just what it is. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, um, people will look at things from their own perspective. A lot of times we don't take into account the variables involved. We don't do that. But the beautiful lie is that, what up, 22? The beautiful lie is this, though. Uh, we think we know. We think we know, or we know. That's the beautiful lie. That's what's comfortable, especially when it comes to a lot of different subjects. You know, But let me get off here, man. I've been on here for 2 hours. It's almost 5 in the morning. I appreciate y'all rocking out with me. I really do. Y'all making me feel like a YouTuber. I got 8 people, 9 people in the chat. I'm humble, truly am, that y'all came and listened to me rant and rave. I know I'm boring and I don't get no excitement, but I just try to keep it raw with y'all. I try to bring y'all things that y'all can use. I try to share information. Um, and usually I have an open panel, but like I said, what up, Blackbird, Scorpio? What up, Scorp? I'm gonna give you a wrench. I'm gonna give you a wrench. But yeah, that's what I try to do. I try to bring something that you can utilize, or at least think about. Um, we get enough destruction, so I try not to bring none of the smoke or the heat. We got enough distractions. But I am going to try to get some more excitement to the show. My wife, I'm still waiting for her to recover. But, we got these kids and she just worn out. So she want to do this paranormal night. We were supposed to do it back in December. We were supposed to do it last night, but my baby wiped out. But that's something else I want to bring to the show. You know, I don't know if y'all believe in the paranormal, but I'm telling y'all, I'm sensitive to energy, and my wife like taking me into places where I probably shouldn't go, and we had some interesting experiences. So she want to share that, and she's a ghost hunter. My wife is a ghost hunter. I tried to explain it to her, but she liked her beautiful lie, and she enjoyed it. So I let her have it, innocent anyway. But yeah, I appreciate y'all coming to rock with me. Um, I probably have an open panel tomorrow. I know Craig want to debate me on some historical aspects, so we should have fun with that. I'll be in a way better mind state. But as Nate would say, right now my mind chooses violence. And I never, I always put myself in positions to succeed, and I never, like I said, I'm still growing and I'm still learning. And I never intentionally be a dick, but like I said, I ain't perfect. And one of those nights is tonight. I'm in dick mode, like I'm literally in asshole mode. Um, so yeah, I don't want to do nothing or say nothing that I could damage my relationship with somebody who I became very fond with, and that's Craig. He even sent me hearts the other day, so that's my dude. Uh, But and like I said, this is just me being real, being raw. That's just me. Like I said, I'm not always. I'm more. I'm really not in this state as much. It's just when I get fired up, it's hard for me to put the fire, turn it down. And just thinking about the kid had a wonderful day with my son today. We went to the Peppa Pig land, and I couldn't see shit. He running around crazy, but he had fun. I seen him smiling. That was enough. Um, so looking at that, and then looking at some of these articles, how my son is almost that age where he go school. So it kind of made me feel some type of way, and that's something I got to work through. Because I don't like being controlled by my emotions, and right now I am. So yeah, that's just something I constantly work on. But yeah, let me get out of here. I appreciate y'all. I'm rambling off at the mall. I appreciate y'all. Do me a favor though, hit the like button. And if you're new, subscribe. Appreciate it. It's free to you, but it means a lot to me. And if I said anything in here that resonate with you, do me a favor, share it. Help me spread the word. Um, and make sure y'all notification bells on too, because when I go live, we get live. But that's all I got. And y'all know what it is. I always say conversations build nations. So we go get into these talks. But that's all I got. Appreciate y'all again, especially my chat. Y'all rock, man. Y'all kept me going through the show, especially you, Craig.